Yo, what's up YouTube? What's going on today? Welcome back to the channel. Bro, chapter 6 of TBV has dropped and ooh, yo, it is juicy right now. Oh, the shit we got in this chapter, ooh, you already know everyone's cooking, alright? Everyone's cooking, especially Boruto and Shikamaru. You know some shit's about to come in the future chapters. Now, I got the whole chapter in front of me right now. It has been translated. Now, I don't know if this is the official translation, but we're gonna have to wait till the 18th to actually get that. But for now, I got the translated copy. If you guys want to check it out, it's on RagnarokScanlation.com. They have all of chapter 6 translated. They have the raw and the translated. So without further ado, let's get into this chapter because there's some BoruSara stuff I want to talk about, alright? That's the highlight for me in this chapter right now. Alright, you already know how I roll, but that was some greasy shit. So to start the chapter off, we have the cover page of Shikamaru and it says the genius for the Kage is now leading the fire. This is implying that Shikamaru is now leading the Hidden Leaf Village. So the chapter starts off with these two older heads, and honestly, I'm surprised they're still alive, but these two older heads are talking to Shikamaru saying, Boruto the betrayer, we've been chasing him ever since he went after the Hokage's life. What is he doing back in the village? Shikamaru says we can't doubt Boruto fully yet because he did save us from Code, but the two older heads are like, you must eliminate Boruto. It doesn't matter why he came back and he saved us, you must eliminate him because everybody in the land of fire wants Boruto dead because he tried to assassinate Kawaki Uzumaki and he took the 7th life. So then we have the old granny talking to Shikamaru saying, Shikamaru, it's been 3 years, why don't you already become the 8th Hokage? Shikamaru said he doesn't want to. This is telling us that Shikamaru did not become the 8th Hokage. He purposely waited 3 years. Now what was he waiting 3 years for? I think that is answered later in this chapter when he tells Boruto that he is actually an Uzumaki. He's been waiting for Boruto to get stronger to come back to the village. That's why he told them 3 years before he becomes Lord 8th. Alright, so that means Shikamaru knew something was wrong that moment that Boruto and Kawaki switched places, which actually makes sense because he is a 200 IQ person. So he was purposely holding off on becoming 8th Hokage because he did not believe that Naruto is really dead. Because he even called Kawaki's love for Naruto an extreme case, and if Boruto and Kawaki did switch places, he knows that Boruto would have extreme love for Naruto and wouldn't actually eliminate him. Also to add that on top of that, Shikamaru most likely knew something was wrong when Sasuke disappeared with Boruto. Alright, because he knows that Sasuke is not the type of person to disappear randomly, and unless Sasuke has a reason, he would take Boruto with him, and that being that Boruto is innocent. So Shikamaru also trusted Sasuke, saying that if Sasuke took Boruto, then most likely he knows that he can trust Sasuke and that Naruto might be alive, hence him holding off on becoming 8th Hokage. He doesn't want to disrespect his best friend by becoming the next Hokage. So Shikamaru knows something is wrong, and that is why he did not become the Hokage. So then getting on, we have Ino come into the Hokage office with records of Team 7's old missions, and it looks like Shikamaru is still confirming that Boruto went on missions with Sarada and Mitsuki, and Kawaki wasn't there at that time. So it does look like omnipotence does affect everyone's memories, but everything that's been written, they can't fight back against that. Just like the Uzumaki family picture that we have. Everyone saw Boruto with the whole family. So that tells us that Shikamaru doubts his memories and knows something is wrong with Boruto and Kawaki, and that Boruto is Naruto's real son. So then Ino leaves the room and Shikamaru talks to Ino regarding on what these documents are for, and his purpose was to actually talk to Ino without anyone noticing. He's trying to talk to Ino on the lows. He's trying to tell Ino, I need you for something, and if you can't do it, it's understandable, but I need you. So then Ino agrees and she connects Shikamaru to Boruto, which we're gonna see later in this chapter. So then getting on to the next pages, we have the conversation between Ida, Damon, and Kawaki. Ida is telling Kawaki that the Ten-Tails have evolved and now they have a new purpose, and that purpose is not only going for Boruto and you as an Otsutsuki, but something else. They are targeting the 7th Hokage, to which Kawaki looks a bit surprised. But what gets me in the next panel is when Ida says they're also targeting my life. Kawaki instantly writes that off, saying why would they go for the 7th Hokage? What is the purpose? This right here tells me that Kawaki still does not have feelings for Ida. You can literally tell the way Ida was trying to talk to him. She's saying and also my life is, and he just cuts off right there. And looking at Ida's face, she has a sweat mark. She feels kind of bad that Kawaki doesn't care for her because Kawaki's first thought was Naruto. But looking carefully right here, that Ida does not go further than that. She just says my life is, and it says ... There's no continuation from there. Even in the next panels, when she says I don't know, that further, and it just ends right there. She doesn't really want to say anything because she knows that Kawaki doesn't care. This is actually a really sad case for Ida because even though she did everything she could to help Kawaki, Kawaki does not recognize her as anything. He doesn't even care for her. He's not showing any feelings towards her, and we can see that Ida wants Kawaki to acknowledge her, but he's not. Even when she says that her life's in danger, he doesn't give a shit. Damon tells Kawaki saying that other than the 3 of us that knows the Hokage is alive, Boruto and Sasuke are the other 2 that know he is alive. No one will believe them because they're criminals. But he's like, if those creatures come and look for the Hokage, won't that expose you? Unlike me and my sister, sister, I don't really care what happens to you. So Damon is also low-key playing against Kawaki because I think Damon knows that Kawaki is not sending Ida's feelings back. Ida even stops Damon here saying that, stop it Damon, don't say anything weird. Damon is basically telling Kawaki, I know you're not returning my sister's feelings, so I don't care what happens to you. You're an afterthought to me, even though Ida cares about Kawaki. So Damon is playing a game here as well. He doesn't like Kawaki or anything like that, and that he's actually fighting back against Kawaki, but because of the love and respect for his sister, he doesn't want to disrespect her feelings either. Now what gets me in the next panels is when Kawaki is walking away and Ida says, Kawaki, where are you going? Kawaki says, don't bother me, just peek if you want to on your own. This right here tells me again that Ida is worried about Kawaki, but he's not sending those feelings back. You can see that look in her eyes. She literally has a sad look, and Kawaki's literally walking away from her. This should be clear to Ida that Kawaki does not care about her. But because Ida is in love, she is blinded by that love. But this love is one-sided, which is why she's not able to see through Kawaki. Alright, she cannot see that Kawaki does not have feelings for her, and that Damon can see that clearly, that Kawaki does not care about her, but she is too much into Kawaki to even realize that. Like, it's still bothering me that looking at that panel, she has that worried look saying, where are you going? Kawaki does not want to stay with her. So I think something is cooking in the future, and that Ida is going to understand that she doesn't like Kawaki and she doesn't care what happens to him later. I think it is going to be her and Code that are going to be endgame. Once Code becomes a Shinju, because I think Code is going to get bit by the 10 tails and he's going to turn into a new type of Otsutsuki possibly, he will be able to send Ida's feelings back. And most likely something might grow between Ida and Code, because I don't see Kawaki and Ida going anywhere. So now we have the juicy stuff, and that is what happened at the end of last chapter, which goes on to this chapter. Sarada hugged Boruto, and now this is the aftermath. Sarada is sitting in the corner away from Boruto because she feels flustered that she hugged Boruto. She even blushes here. She thinks back to that moment that she hugged him, and even we get the dialogues in her mind saying, I simply hugged out of emotion, but I don't know what I should talk about. There are so many things I want to ask. The first thing going through Sarada's mind is that she hugged him out of emotion. What does that mean? That tells us that Sarada loves Boruto. She is in love with Boruto, because the first thing she did was hug Boruto, and now she's reminiscing that moment that she hugged him saying, shit, why did I hug him? You know, it makes her feel kind of warm and fuzzy and weird on the inside. She's embarrassed, which is why looking at this panel here, she's separated from Boruto. She's literally sitting in that corner with her legs crossed and her hands on her knees, thinking like, ah shit, what did I do? And the funny thing here is that Sumire notices that. When Sarada is saying, I simply hugged him out of emotion, you can see Sumire looking at Sarada saying, shit, it's kind of awkward between them, which is why then she then gets in and starts a conversation with Boruto saying, it's been 3 years Boruto, I'm glad you're okay. And Boruto says, you too. And he also mentions Sarada saying, you too Sarada, though I didn't expect you to suddenly jump on me. She says, it's because I was really worried about you. So looking at that panel, when Boruto says, you too Sarada, he instantly knocks her out of her flustered state, and she's like, oh wait, what? Like, she was so flustered that she hugged Boruto, she didn't know what to do or say. That was a really wholesome moment, I ain't gonna lie about that. So then Boruto says, I know, I'm glad you two are fine. And Sumire then mentions that, Boruto, are you actually okay being in a place like this? Boruto says that I have kept my chakra vanished. I don't have any risk of being found by the detection team, but I will be noticed by Kawaki sooner or later. Boruto says that I came here to talk about my master and to tell you about Sasuke. Sarada says, what happened to my dad? Boruto says that my master was absorbed into the 10 tails. At this moment is when Kawaki notices Boruto is here, saying, I can feel him. At that moment, Mitsuki is planning something, which the panel cuts back to Sarada. Sarada says, he's been absorbed. You mean he turned into a tree? Boruto's like, yeah, that's right. Sasuke sacrificed himself to save me. And he's like, he got defeated because of me. I can't deny that. And Sumire mentions that so many people in the village were attacked by the claw grime, and some of them became a tree. And then here we get some interesting information about the identity of Jura and Boruto talking about the Shinjus, saying the existence of the 10 tails is just to eat chakra. And when they finally eat an Otsutsuki, that chakra will make a 10 tails into a divine tree. That's how it's supposed to be in the past. Sarada says in the past. Boruto says for some reason they already are evolving into a Shinju. This right here is telling me that Boruto knows that something is wrong with the Shinju and that their instincts are changing. He might even know the reason why they want to target specific people, which he knows that Sasuke is gonna most likely target Sarada, which is gonna bring me to my later point when Boruto says something to Sarada, but he cuts it off right there. That I'm gonna get to in a second. But here, back in the Hokage office, Mitsuki tells Shikamaru that Boruto is here and that Kawaki Kawaki fell to him. And what Mitsuki does is he makes Kawaki go to sleep. He bites him on his neck and Kawaki instantly knocks out. Mitsuki is going to where Boruto is because he wants to fight Boruto. So then the panels cut back to Sarada and Boruto, and they're questioning Boruto, what do you mean transforming into a Shinju? Boruto says, I can't say for sure, but it looks like Code's chakra might be affecting it through the claw grimes. But he has a karma that is from Ishiki. That itself is an aspect of Otsutsuki, and it's not surprising if it has any influence. This is telling us that Code influenced the claw grimes, and all the claw grimes evolved because of Code because he has the karma from an Otsutsuki. And that could explain Jura's identity and why we all thought Jura looked like Ishiki. Is because of the chakra that Code possessed, and that the data in Code's karma it still has Ishiki inside of it. So when he added his chakra into the claw grimes, they basically took some of the karma's data, and that is why one of the claw grimes evolved into Jura, who looks like Ishiki, and which is why he also looks like Ishiki. Hence the tomos, the horns, even the stance. So that means that Jura is most likely Ishiki, and the reason he wants to eat Naruto is because Ishiki has deep hatred for Naruto, since Naruto gave him the works. So because of that, Ishiki hated Naruto, and him hating Naruto, that went into Jura, and now Jura wants to eat Naruto because he's angry. And he is also angry at Kawaki because they know that the most important person to Kawaki is Naruto. So that's why he's purposely going after Naruto out of pure hatred. Now before I go any further, obviously I made a video on this as well saying Kurama might be Jura. Again, that was a theory. I didn't confirm that shit. I just said it was a theory. A lot of people went against it saying, yo, is this and this? Some people saying it's Kawaki, but now we know that it is most likely Code. Alright, it's Code's manifestation of Ishiki into Jura, which is why he wants to eat Naruto. Though that is some greasy shit, I ain't gonna lie. So then getting back into the chapter, Shikamaru talks to Boruto with the mind-body transmission technique, and he says don't answer without speaking. He's trying to talk to Boruto without anyone noticing, and he doesn't want anybody to know the conversation they're having. Boruto is talking to Shikamaru while Sarada and Sumire are trying to question Boruto because he's not responding back to them. Here, Shikamaru is going to talk to Boruto about his past and what happened between him and Kawaki. But before he can do that, Boruto is attacked by Mitsuki. Mitsuki wraps a snake around Boruto, and Boruto escapes using the flying thunder god technique. Right here, this is important because Boruto has implanted the flying Raijin onto his sword. Because when Boruto throws his sword out, he instantly teleports to his sword. That means Boruto has put a marking on every single piece of equipment he has, including the hidden leaf symbol and all the badges on his chest. And that is actually smart of Boruto, because if he ever does implant something on anybody, he can easily teleport to them. Which in this case, I'm pretty confident. I'm being 100% sure that when Sarada hugged Boruto, Boruto most likely implanted a badge or something on her in case he ever needs to teleport to her ever again. Which is most likely going to happen in the future, because we know that Sasuke is going to attack Sarada, Boruto is going to come and protect her. And that Boruto still needs to talk to Sarada because there's something more he wants to tell her, but he doesn't want to do it yet. So with that being said, this is 100% going to happen, that Boruto is going to implant something on Sarada to talk to her and teleport to her in the future. Most likely there's going to be a battle in the future with them together. So then looking back into the manga, Mitsuki says, I was waiting for this moment. Here Sarada and Sumire are saying, Mitsuki, stop, listen to us. Mitsuki saying, I don't know what he told you guys, but move it, Sarada. I can't afford to be soft right now. Mitsuki is going after Boruto at full force in his Sage mode. That means Mitsuki is out for blood, alright? As Pushashi says, out for blood, Mitsuki is literally out for blood. He's coming after Boruto at full force. And while Mitsuki is coming after Boruto, Boruto uses purple lightning. This is telling us that Boruto has mastered purple lightning. Alright, so this actually tells me that everything we see in the Chunin exams, when Boruto used all those special techniques using the scientific ninja tool, Boruto learned all those techniques. And thus Boruto uses purple lightning against Mitsuki. And then Boruto instantly jumps into the air and is floating. At this moment, Boruto declares something to Sarada saying, Sarada, I promise I'll save my master and also everyone that turned into a tree. And also, he looks Sarada in the eyes and he hesitates and he stops. He says, no, I will come again next time. This right here is what I wanted to talk about. This here, when Boruto says, and also, he stops right there, he doesn't say anything. What is Boruto trying to tell her? There's multiple things that apply here. The first being that Boruto says, and also, I will protect you. Because that was Sasuke's last wish, that Boruto protects Sarada. But Boruto didn't want to say that yet because he couldn't bring himself to say it. You can see the look in Boruto's eyes and him looking directly at Sarada. Their eyes were communicating. Because he just made a promise to her saying, Sarada, I promise I'll bring back my master and everyone that's turned into a tree. He's making that promise specifically to Sarada. And then the other part being that he also wanted to say, and Sarada, I'll protect you. But he says, no, I will come again next time. He doesn't want to say it yet because he doesn't want to make Sarada a target. He knows that everybody's watching and listening. So Boruto is being smart here. The other thing being that Boruto actually wanted to say something more to Sarada, possibly even regarding his own feelings or something like that. But I don't think that's going to happen yet. But you never know, because Boruto was surprised when Sarada hugged him and it was so awkward between the two that they didn't talk to each other. So it could be that Boruto Boruto feels something for Sarada and he also wanted to say something else, maybe even say I'm sorry, but he couldn't bring himself to say that. That means next time Boruto and Sarada meet, Sarada is 100% gonna bring up this conversation here where she says, Boruto, you're gonna say something else to me. And then Boruto will finally reveal what he wanted to say to Sarada. Now, the other thing I want to point out here is that while Sarada looks at Boruto flying off, you can tell their feelings are interconnected in a way that Boruto does not say anything to Sumire. Look carefully here, alright? I'm not gonna talk shit about the Borusumi fans or anything like that, but Boruto specifically talks to Sarada. He basically ignores Sumire in that sense. Alright, this is the creators trying to build up something between Boruto and Sarada, and not Boruto and Sumire. This chapter basically gives us more confirmation that Boruto and Sarada are going to be endgame, with Sarada hugging Boruto out of an emotional instinct, and Boruto making a promise saying, I'll bring back your dad, and most likely him saying, I'm going to protect you, but he's going to save that for next time, because when Hidari attacks Sarada, Boruto and Sarada are going to fight against him, and we might see Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan awaken then. So then Boruto flies out of the village, and Shikamaru talks to Boruto saying, Boruto, there's certain things I want to say to you, but I can't say them in person, so this is the only way I can talk to you is through Ino. And Ino is actually shocked that Shikamaru is saying these certain things which everyone else doubts, and that being that Shikamaru says, you're actually Boruto Uzumaki, aren't you? He says, this is something I didn't consider before listening to Amato, that the possibility of my own memories could be fake. So what we saw last chapter, the conversation between Amato and Sumire, was actually a ploy between Sumire and most likely Shikamaru, because Sumire purposely lured Amato into talking about his own memories and why Kawaki possesses Amato's daughter's data in his karma. That right there gave it away to Shikamaru that Boruto is actually innocent and that Kawaki is the one they should be watching out for. Shikamaru says the explanation is here, that everybody is under a mass hypnosis, and that Kawaki and Boruto switched roles. And Ino here is surprised saying, what the hell is he talking about? He can't be serious. Shikamaru says, I want to hear your answer, Boruto. As soon as Boruto is about to say something to him, Mitsuki comes and disrupts Boruto. Mitsuki is coming full force, not giving up or anything. Mitsuki is back for blood again. Boruto traveled really far from the village and Mitsuki came up on this guy real quick. Like, look at this guy. Boruto even says, I'm so far away. And Shikamaru says that Ino should be able to talk to him for 100 kilometers outside the village. That means Boruto is somewhere near the 100 kilometers mark. And Mitsuki coming that far, you know he's out for blood. So this right here is telling us the battle that's going to happen next chapter between timeskip Boruto and timeskip Mitsuki in his sage mode. Because Boruto says, fine, I will be a little rough as well, Mitsuki. And then on the side text it says, Mitsuki, the X-Team 7 is chasing desperately. The inevitable fight is now starting. That means next chapter and possibly a chapter after that, we're getting a fight between Mitsuki and Boruto. This is a throwback to when Mitsuki and Boruto were supposed to fight during the Chunin exams, but that never happened. So now they're giving us a battle between timeskip Boruto and timeskip Mitsuki. And honestly, I saw this coming in the openings, alright? If you remember my previous opening videos I did, there was one scene where Mitsuki charges at Boruto in his sage mode, and Boruto is on the other side charging at Mitsuki. That was a foreshadow to this upcoming battle. So that is it for this chapter. There's a lot of greasy shit, man. Ooh, especially with what we got with BoruSara in this chapter. And Boruto promising Sarada that he'll bring back Sasuke and everybody that's turned into a tree, and also most likely gonna protect her, because that was Sasuke's last wish, that Boruto protects Sarada. You know this shit's about to pick up, alright? You know it's getting greasy. So that's it for this video, alright? Let me know what you guys think. This is the whole chapter we just went over. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos to come.